Hi everyone, it's Curious Raven with Thursday's video. This is going to be Thoughts with Curious Raven. I'm going to read one story today and give you my thoughts. I hope everyone is having a good week. I need some help. I need the opinions of y'all here in Reddit on this one. I have had many ghost or experiences with even other entities before, but this one in particular has stuck with me and been on my mind ever since it happened about 6 months ago. I was going to a friend's house after we had agreed to hang out. It was a big house, one of those old 1800s type of houses, dead center of town almost. I had a key, so I let myself in because I figured she was upstairs on the 3rd floor and wouldn't hear the front door if I knocked. I called her name and no answer on the 1st floor, so I began to walk upstairs to the 2nd floor, where I could hear where she could be more clearly. It sounded like a woman was quietly talking on the phone in one of the bedrooms on the 2nd floor, the one I was on. So naturally I assumed that my friend was behind one of the closed doors, and that I didn't want to be rude. I figured she knew I was there, but was finishing up a phone call and needed a minute. So I sat on the ground against one of the hallway walls, directly looking at the closed door of the room I thought she was in. Directly looking at the bottom of the door, there was enough space between the door and the floor to see shadow footprints move from left to right, right to left. I assumed they were hers. She was still talking on what I thought was a phone as I watched the set of shadowy footprints turn into 2 pairs. I had seen 4 shadow feet, 2 pairs, walk side to side the floor. I suddenly thought, well, maybe she isn't on the phone. Maybe she's talking to someone in there. She's not alone in the room. Still, I didn't want to be rude and interrupt, especially if another person was in there with her. Then it happened. A loud smack of a hand hit the floor underneath the door, still behind it. It was a shadow of a hand. It was a real hand, only a pale magenta color. I had seen smack its palm on the floor beneath the door. It had to be directly behind the door for me to see it, as plainly as I did. Like, it was definitely meant for me to be startled and pay attention. The pale magenta color startled me more than the loud smack. It almost looked like the steam that comes off your skin when you get out of the hot shower, bright magenta, somewhat matching the pale magenta of its skin. Then a crooked scream of a face peeked through the space between the door and the floor, looking directly at me in this hateful expression of a silent scream. It was not my friend's face. It was a face of a woman I didn't know. There was no sound, not even talking I'd heard before, but it felt like I could feel the scream this face was making and hear it in a weird, silent sort of way. Hard to explain. And it was directed at me. Its eyes were like normal eyes, except they were almost ablaze in appearance, and the pupils were huge, surrounded by hot pink magenta irises, and they were pissed. Its hair looked like the hair of Lava Girl. Skin a pale magenta, terrifying magenta eyes, and her skin looked steamed. I jumped up, scared as fuck of what I had just clearly seen as plain as day. Ran down the stairs. I ran into my friend who was coming up the stairs from the 1st floor while I was running down them from the 2nd, meaning she was never behind the door in the first place. And why didn't she answer when I called her when I first got here? She believed me. A lot of weird things had been seen in the house over the years, but that did little to comfort me. So, still I think about this experience. What does it mean? What was it? It was human in appearance minus the monochrome magenta and seemingly fiery look. Why was it silently screaming at me? Why did it smack its hand down like that? What the actual fuck? I would love to hear what anyone thinks. If they maybe have answers or any other perspective, please tell me what you think. Edit. So, there's this room in the basement from the original house in the 1700s that is totally filled up with dirt, but it didn't get filled up with dirt until the late 1800s. It was clear it was a coal chute room to anyone that even moderately examined it from the outside of the house. But like I said, it didn't get filled up with dirt until the late 1800s. Why? So I did a little digging and read some stuff that sometimes when a murder would happen in a town back then, like this one, that would have been fairly populated smack in the middle of town, people would get rid of the bodies via the coal chute or vice versa. Could be one of the unlucky houses to get a body dropped down their coal chute in the attempt from someone else trying to get rid of the body. The man who owned the house around the time invented projectors or something. Edwin Staten Porter, by the way. Anyway, I've had this running theory that either someone died in the house by fire and was disposed via coal chute, killed and then disposed by fire and coal chute, or a body was dropped through the coal chute from someone else. Either way, somebody filled the room with dirt, which they'd have the money to do to cover up the evidence whether the inhabitants were guilty or not. By the way, this house likes to randomly catch fire sometimes, like the kitchen. And way back when Edwin Staten Porter and his wife used his house as like an extra house closer to where her family lived, their only child died at 22 months old in the room I called mine. Naturally, I expect nothing less. I had no knowledge of this when I picked my bedroom out. I have seen plethora of entities in the house, all different vibes, but this one stuck with me. I really appreciate your input and wouldn't mind picking your brain more. Well, there are many stories I have read. People have seen blue entities, purple entities, and I don't think they're human, to be honest. My opinion, I feel like they are like supernatural entities from a different timeline or universe, and they just randomly pop into ours sometimes, or even an alien, to be honest. Because when I see a ghost, they're like normal human, like a human is in front of me and I'm talking to you. But we don't talk to each other through our voices. We talk to each other through our minds. And just, yeah, that's my thought on it. If it hasn't happened again, good. I hope it doesn't, because that's really, really scary. You might want to walk around your house and sage it, or your best friend's house, or whatever. You can always Google how to cleanse and sage a home and just get the stuff and read the directions and do it exactly how it says. And have pure intention into it that they can leave and then they're not welcome here, and put your intentions, whatever intentions you have for the spirit in the house, you say it out loud and as you're cleansing with the sage and everything. And mean it. Be direct. Put your foot down. That's my advice. But that is a crazy story. I'm very sorry you had to see that. That would freak me out too. But I hope this helped a little bit. All right, everyone. I will see y'all Saturday for Creepypasta Day. But until then, remember it's scary out there. So stay safe. Please like and subscribe.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross